Oh yeah, that's Willie Rogers with "That's When I'll Stop Loving You." Before that, Seesaw, Don Covey, and Otis Clay with "Hardworking Woman." But let me go back, uh, ladies and gentlemen, everybody out there in Radio Land. I see Jennifer London from London, Jennifer Noble from London, England, checking in this evening. Listen, everybody, I've got to go to the live line. That's when I'll stop loving you, Willie Rogers. That's a song. Well, I'm gonna have to talk with him about that. But I want to introduce everyone to the legendary Willie Rogers to Blues and News with Brother Jacob on Buddy Guy Radio. Mr. Rogers, can you hear me? All right.
Yeah, I hear you good, loud and clear.
All right. How you doing, Mr. Rogers?
Oh, it's great. Just to be talking with you, just to have a little dialogue with the world, talk about music, because that's my thing. I love music. I've been doing it all my life. So we can talk to the family and let them know some of the experiences that we have had during our stay in this music.
Yes, sir. Yes, indeed. Mister, I
And
gotta ask you how you been doing. Throughout this COVID and whatnot. How you been holding up?
oh, I've been holding up nice. I've been had my shots a long time ago. But what happened? I did a lot of going home service, man. There was a lot of people leaving here. And so I've been doing a lot of service, you know what I'm saying? Singing, for the family. They invited me to sing for them. So I did it anyway with my wife. So, it was kind of strange to do that because knowing what was happening at that time. But I had a real nice, real nice. I do my prayer work and then I did the movie.
Yeah, I heard that. I know that's right. I got a lot of folks just so you know checking in from all over the world, from London, England to Maine and New York, and right here in Chicago that want to hear from Mr. Willie Rogers, and they want to hear about your story, and they probably just like me grew up listening to you and listening to some good down home gospel music, and I'd love it if we could talk a little bit about your upbringings. Can you tell us where you were born and raised, and what kind of music were you listening to growing up?
Oh, I'm from Norfolk, Virginia. I read up in the so-called Holy Church in Virginia, and I started singing in Virginia. You know what happened to me as a youngster growing up? My cousin had a group, and what happened, Jacob? I didn't have no voice. I couldn't sing or nothing. But what I did, I went home and prayed and went to bed and prayed, and I woke up one morning. I had a voice. And I
Wow.
was in that thing. I had a voice, and I was singing by myself. And my father said, "It doesn't look with the singing." I know, and, and so that was a mystery to me. How God gave me that voice, and I've been singing ever since. That was a long time ago.
So you prayed on it, and you woke up one morning, and you were able to. Wait a minute. Wow.
Eh, Jacob, I woke up. Cause my uncle them they had a group and I couldn't sing. I didn't have no voice whatsoever, but I wanted to sing. And I prayed and I went to sleep and I woke up the next day. I had a voice. I can remember the song when I was singing.
What was the
I never
song?
uh uh he'll understand it by and by. Ooh, cheer up my brother.
Woo!
And you know what? I never forget about that song. I don't know why that song, you know, but it came to me, and I've been singing ever since. And from there, I started singing with my father group. My father had a group
Yes.
down in Norfolk, Virginia, and so I started singing with them. And they had a 15-minute show every Sunday morning. The radio station was WLOW. And people, I was saying, and people were calling in from everywhere, want to know who that little boy singing, you know. And and so what happened? It started from there. And so I started traveling. Now, I didn't travel, my father group, we went all the local churches and everything. And Jacob, when I finished singing, man, people were throwing money on the stage and everything.
Ooh, I know that made you feel real good.
Oh, and you know what? And my mother saved all that money. That's how we got our first house. She saved all of the money that people gave us. I didn't care about no money. All I want to do was eat. My mother could cook some good biscuit, man. Just feed me some good. and anyway, Jacob, and we started from there. From there, I was on the radio one Sunday morning, and it was a group came through called the Highway QC, Spencer Taylor and the Highway QC.
Yes.
And they heard me when they were booked in Norfolk. They heard me on their way into Norfolk. They said, "Man, who is this guy here? We got to talk to him." So when it came into Norfolk, they asked who was this guy singing with that group, my father group. And I met Spencer Taylor right there in Norfolk, Virginia. And what happened? I had a trial for them. So I had a trial. So what happened? A lady told me, said, "Look, you've been singing around here long enough. So it's time for you to move. So if they want you, give them a try." So man, I left Norfolk, Virginia with the Highway QC.
What? Woo. So you started out working with, I just want to make sure I got it right now. So you were working with you were in your father's group, and that was called the Floodgates Quartet.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, and then Spencer Taylor and the Highway QC saw you singing, and they said you got to come on and sing with us.
Yep, that's right.
Woo, that's amazing.
And the next morning, they sung that Sunday evening in Norfolk, Virginia. You had a pack house, man. And so what happened? I didn't sing with them that day. So they left the next day, Jacob. And so they asked me would I go with them. Man, I got in that car. At that time, we were riding in car. 6 of us on our way to Chicago. I got in that car, man, and left my everything, man. I didn't take no clothes because what happened? I knew if I went back home, I wouldn't have been with the Highway QC.
Oh no!
I didn't tell my mom and my dad. When I called back, I was on my way to Chicago.
Oh, what? So
with
wait.
With the Highway QC.
Oh no! Wait a minute. How old were you when you joined the Highway QC? About how old were you?
Yeah, about 20. But yeah, I was just getting to a teenage then.
Wow.
Yeah, and I left there. I got it. I came to Chicago and then got in Chicago. Man, Jacob, man, when I left my clothes. We stopped at the pawn shop and bought me a suit. These things were the Highway QC and a coat because it was cold. And I got in on my way to Chicago, man, that big city. I never seen such a city in my life, man. When I got in Chicago, wow, man. And so they took me in a hotel, and they went home because they lived different places in Chicago. And they left me at the hotel, and I went and got me a bus and rode all the way downtown Chicago.
Wow. Oh my gosh. And you were new. You had just came up to Chicago. Had you been to a big city like Chicago before?
No, man. I'm no, man. And they were looking for me. But I remember how I got there. So I had the bus fare to go downtown, and I had bus fare to come back. I kept all of my directions so I could get back. I just wanted to see that big town Chicago, and came back. Then we started rehearsing because they was on their way to do a recording at that time. At that time, they was on VJ. You remember VJ?
Yeah, VJ. Yeah.
Vivian Carter was, before Barry Carter, that was a Vivian Carter,
Yes.
And so she had favorite singer. She had, she the one that, the first one that had the Beatles.
I did not know that.
Yeah. and she had a spaniel, and so that was my first. I made my first $100 bill with VJ. I recorded at a Universal Studio. We are hip
Ooh,
hop children.
wow. Oh, that's and $100 back then. That was
Oh man, look, you know, oh man. So what happened? I stayed with the Highway QC for a while. I enjoyed the Highway QC because that's the group Sam Cooke came from.
right,
Yeah,
right.
he came from the Highway QC, and so what happened? What happened? I kept going, and so we had a misunderstanding with the Highway QC, and I got a call from Jesse's father from the Soul Stir. I had left the Highway QC and went back home to Norfolk, Virginia, and Jesse's father called me and said, "Look, would you like to join the Soul Stir?" And my father said, "The Soul Stir, that's moving up in life, because that was Soul Stir was they was the premier group at that time, They had good reputation. That was Sam Cooke, Johnny Taylor, Lou Rawls, all the guys came from. And so I left. Then I came with the Soul Stir, and I stayed there for years.
So,
And
what was it like when you joined the Soul Stirrers? Because I know because you grew up listening to Soul Stirrers as well. What was that like being able to join the Soul Stirrers?
man, look what happened. My father, the Floodgate, used to book all the groups in Norfolk, Virginia. So they booked the Soul Stir there. So every time the Soul Stir would come to Norfolk, Virginia, Sam Cooke would take me with him. He would go. All the Soul Stirrers, they would go to home, go to bed, and Sam Cooke would go down to a club or whatever. So I ride with Sam. I said, Sam, I can't go in the club. He said, yes, you can, though, Willie. So he took me with him everywhere. Every time he came to Norfolk. The Soul Stirrers at that time had a limousine. You didn't see nobody with no limousine back in the day.
Ooh, wee. Riding
So
in style.
Sam took me with him to the clubs and everybody knew Sam when he walked in the club. It was just like he was an R&B singer then when he was singing gospel because he was so popular.
Yes.
And so what happened is he left the group. When he left the group went way down. You know how it is when you leave when Sam Cooke leaves, man. But what happened before Sam came? There was an old man there was another lead singer, Reba Harris. His name was Reba Harris.
Yes.
Before Sam came to Virginia, everybody was looking for, when he came to Norfolk, everybody was looking for Reba Harris. And Sam Cooke, at that time, he had just got Sam. Sam was a little old boy, a little young guy. So when it happened, Jacob, my mother was looking for Harris, because Harris was a real fiery singer, man. And I remember my mother crying because she didn't see that old man. And so that little boy don't know nothing much about Jesus or Sam Cooke. Sam Cooke started leading with the Soul Stir. Didn't nobody even like Sam because they were waiting on Harris.
Wow.
And so Sam started singing, and I never forget about that night, man. We're on my way home. But my father prophesied that Sam going to be a great singer. And but anyway, we ain't talking about Sam now. I'm talking about me. But anyway, this is how the story unfolds. And on my father woke me up early one morning. Sam Cooke had just recorded his first song, Jesus Gave Me Water. It was so popular. My father had prophesied. And then Sam, when he left the group, old man's father called and asked me, did I want to join the Soul Stir? That's when I went with the Soul Stir. But I didn't want to lead. I didn't want to do no lead. I didn't want to come behind Sam Cooke, man, because, man, can you imagine?
Those are some big shoes to fill.
Can you imagine? Woo! But anyway, I never forget about it. I tried my best to do what I did. I never forget my first. I'm skipping that because it's so much to tell about it. My first big concert was in Atlanta, Georgia. they had all of the gospel greats, man. Group like the at Swan Silvertone. You may not know all these groups.
Oh
Swan
yeah. Oh yeah, yes I do. Come on with it. Tell us the Swan Silvertones. Come on with it. Wait a minute now.
They had all these heavyweights, and so at that time, the Soul Stir had another lead singer. It was Jimmy Outlaw. Jimmy had messed up, and he quit just before we went to Atlanta, Georgia. Man, they had 5,000 people there. So, and Jimmy left, and I had to do the lead singer. I wasn't even ready. What happened on that Saturday? I had to do some rehearsal. Sam gave the Soul Stir the motorhome, you know, and I was on the motorhome rehearsing with the Soul Stirs, and so a guy called D. Clark, he was an R&B singer. D. Clark,
Yeah.
he came on the bus. I tried my best to do some rehearsal, and D. Clark was in the bus. He said, "Father, where you get this guy from?" He said, "We got him from Norfolk, Virginia." He said, "Man, this guy can be a great singer." And D. Clark said that, you know. But anyway, got up Sunday evening, going out to the autumn tour. When I got there, Jacob, the people was in line on both sides, and no Jimmy showed up, and I had to do the lead.
Oh no! How did you feel when he didn't show? When he didn't show up, how did you feel taking over the lead?
Oh man, I was so nervous, Jacob. My knees were buckling and everything. Oh man, Father, he got a lot of nerve. He said, "You can do it." I said, "Mr. Father, I'm not ready." I didn't know really about 2 or 3 songs because you know. But anyway, we got to that Sunday evening. I sung. I did my first song. When I did the first 5,000 people, you could hardly hear a clap because they're waiting on Jimmy. Sam had wrote Jimmy a big song. Jesus Be a Fence Around Me was a big song. And so no Jimmy. So I did the first song, Jacob. The people were clapping, bang, bang, bang. Oh, my stomach, man. I said, man, I can't go no further. Miss Carter said, "Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You can do it." So I got back up to the mic and I tried one more song. And the hand clap began to get a little louder. But what happened? I forgot myself, Jacob. I did a song, it's a beat. I never forget this, and I took this beat, this song called "Wade in the Water." That's not my song, but I sung that song, Jacob, and I sung that song, and man, the spirit came over me in that song, and when I come to myself, you could look like the whole 5,000 people was shouting and doing, and man, right from there. I got my confidence, you know.
Ooh.
But what I did, man, I said I'm going for it. I just went turned loose and just went inside. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I went inside, and that's what came out. And came out that day. That's why I'm still singing, really, because when I came through, man, it looked like the whole 5,000 people were shouting and doing it. And then what happened? I think it was one of the Swan Silvertones. I told you could do it. And so from there on, from the next night, from then on, man, I was able to start moving out. I had my confidence. So what I started doing then is I sit down and started rehearsing. You got to rehearse. And my lineup, I started getting more confidence. So from then on, I began to move out. You know, and then once you get that confidence, and so that happened, and then kept on going. Then we got this contract. At that time we signed one of the greatest gospel contracts. We signed with Chess Record. We got the phone call. Mr. Fowler said, Mr. Fowler wife said, "You got a phone call for Chess Record." So Chess Record, we went home. And they wanted the Soul Stir to come and sign with them. So we did. One of the biggest record, man. That was a good payday right there.
Ooh.
That was a good payday. But Chess Record, the guy with Chess Record, they had changed our style of recording because, you know, back in the day, five guys, and when we was living, five was QC, five guys got around the mic and do what harmonize, and it was simultaneously. But when we got the chess record, they changed our style. The band plays first, give you a track, you rehearse it, and then you record. A guy called Sandy Thompson, he's the one that did our first CD with Chess Records. And what happened from there, we had some good, they put the kind of music, they put Fill Up Church, you probably remember Fill Up Church. Maurice White, that before the Earth, Wind and Fire, they had Maurice White, all these guys, they was our musicians.
Wow.
And
Maurice White was one of your musicians?
No, he was in the studio.
In the studio. Wow.
Yes, studio. And what happened, they gave us Gene Barr. Gene Barr just came to Chicago. So Gene Barr was our producer. And man, he put the kind of music behind the Soul Stirrers, and we changed our sound. Man, people were calling all over the world, wanting to know who was that singing lead. Because who was that singing lead? Said, we know Sam is not with them anymore, And but what happened from there on? After that contract and after that, the kind of stuff that we put out, and we had good and the good writers. I did another thing. I went back and did some Sam old songs.
Okay.
But they put the kind of music behind it and to update them. And so we got hit after hit with the Chess Record Company. Then we got another lead singer guy, got Martin Jacob. He had another kind of a heavy voice, and I had the tenor voice. From then on, man, we were moving, we were going strong, man. Everywhere we go, we were packing out houses at that time because we had once you get a record, you know how it is when you get the record.
Yes, sir.
And so we kept going. I'm skipping. We kept going, and after a while, here we go. After so many years, we got this opportunity to go to Broadway. I'm skipping there. Broadway, yes, here come Broadway. Man, look, that was a ride. That was about 13 years we did Broadway. We got in New York, a place, a guy called Sam Butler said, look, we don't usually do too much work during the Christmas season. So I said, would you like, said they got a new play called Gospel at Colonus. And arriving in New York, I met the director, the musical director, and I met the one that wrote the play. And so he wanted me to do one song, so listen to my voice. I did Change Gonna Come. And one verse, he said, you got it. He gave me, we got the part. And from then on, we started in BAM, first in Brooklyn. We started in BAM. And BAM is a big musical hall in Brooklyn, New York. We traveled before we got to Broadway. Now we traveled just about all over the world. We went to Barcelona. We went to Italy. We went to Brazil. A lot of places we went before we came back to Broadway. Cause we didn't think. I told them, I said, I had a feeling we were going to Broadway. I told one of the guys with the blind boys, I said, man, we're going to Broadway. And we got the call that we were going to Broadway. Man, that was an exciting moment there too. When we started rehearsing, that's when I met Morgan Freeman. And I met, we all came together because they took a Greek play and put it in a black shirt, and it worked, man. We still work. We worked that for 13 years, or maybe longer.
What was it like meeting Morgan Freeman for you? What was that like?
Man, he was a nice guy, man. Humble, nice. We used to be, before he said, Jacob, he was a minute from driving the cab, man, before he got with Colonus. And he came in, real humble guy, and me and him used to walk. We used to all walk across the place everywhere we go. We walk. He loved fish, and so we would walk, and he was talking about what he went through and how his life. Because we all, you know how it is when you're up and down in this business. But
Right.
then, but Morgan was such a nice guy. So after we went over the world, he got this call to do his first picture was Joe Clark.
Oh
That,
yeah. Uh huh.
yeah,
Lean
yeah,
on me. Right.
yeah, yeah. That's it. And
Right.
when we came back, he got Joe Clark, and then next was Driver's Days, and he didn't look back. You know, he's a
Show didn't.
uh,
I said he showed didn't.
multi. But he was a nice guy, man. I love working with him with the play. He played the messenger. But we had a good cast, man. Oh, we had a beautiful cast. It was just like a family, man.
Oh
And
man.
so, but anyway, and we kept on going. And after we kept on going, then I want to do a solo career. I mean, now, as you know, I'm doing a solo, and it worked good. Now, Otis Clay, my man, Otis Clay.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
That is one. That's another gentleman, man. I love Otis Clay.
How did you talk? Let's talk about Otis Clay for a minute, because that's how I met you, through
That's
Otis
right.
Clay. What talk to
That's
me
right.
about how? When did you first meet Otis Clay, and what was it like working with him?
I've been knowing Otis Clay when he was in gospel. I was knowing him when he was the Nightingale group called the Nightingale. Nightingale.
Yes.
Yeah, he left the Nightingale. I think he came from another group on the west side called, I can't think of their name. And he got with the Nightingales. And the next thing I know, he was doing his R&B career. But Otis was such, he had like, some good records out there too, man. But he was such a nice guy, man. We departed because when he went R&B, I went another way. He went that way. We would meet up at times, you know. I mean, because I forgot he had some big records out there, man. He went down. I think Willie Mitchell produced him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Al Green people down there. And so he was really, he moved out then. But anyway, Otis, we would always meet up, man. We were always been a great guy, man. He put me on his anniversary at the UIC.
Oh
And
yeah. Uh huh.
yeah, and I think that's when he had Bobby Bland and everybody there.
Yeah. Uh huh. Yep.
And you know what Otis did, man? You know, he's such a nice guy. He gave me a big deposit. So it didn't go through or something. And I said, Otis, I got to give that money. He said, man, you don't have to give me that money back. Because it's your money. You know, it's your money. And another thing, he booked another one. Remember Ollie Woosten? Remember he passed just before his anniversary. Or,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. And so, anyway, he was a nice guy, man. And then Otis, the one took me down to. I wanted to go to what me and you work at? What was the name of that place downtown?
Down in Millennium Park.
Millennium Park.
Yep. That's it.
Yeah, man. We had some fun, didn't we?
Oh yeah, we had a lot of fun. Oh yes, yes indeed. That was a
Yeah,
tribute to Sam Cooke and Mahalia Jackson.
that's right. That's
Yeah.
right. That's right. And so Otis had, because we have been different ways in our careers. He hadn't heard me, as you said, you get a little better as you mature, So he hadn't heard me since I had mature in my craft, If you keep doing it, you're gonna get better. But you know what, Jacob, I actually did a lot of my own work on myself. What I did, because they told me I had to do this. You got to go to school, to go to Broadway. You got to do all this kind of stuff. I said, man, I think I can get that before I do it. What I did, I started working on my own self. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I learned
absolutely.
how to, I learned how to, I learned how to move with the mic. I did all this kind of work. I worked on myself. So when I watched my teachers. I watched David Ruffin. I like the way he moved. and different kinds of things that they did, you know.
Yeah.
And so I did a lot. I worked on myself, you know, and so I didn't never get a whole lot of extra training on it. I just watched people how they did things and learn how to move. I tell see if you look at guys like David Ruffin and Smokey and all these kind of guys. I didn't learn too much from gospel groups. Cause you know we just get up and shout and everything, but all the people, I like the way they move, how they turn, how
Yeah.
they the kind of stuff that they did, you know.
Right.
So I learned a lot from that field.
And
But
you, I just want to ask because as you talk about how you learn from those greats, those music giants, and the folks in R&B, I just want to make a mention because you also at one point, you have a few R&B recordings that you released back in the '70s too, right?
I couldn't. You know what? You're right. It wasn't my thing, man. Right. You know they still try to get me to do some things, you know.
Uh huh.
And you know, you can, if it ain't your thing, you can't do it the best. You can't do your best in it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so I love me some. I love me some gospel, man. I just go out and you know I learned you could be. I do club work because you know when you do club work and you got to know you know I don't go there and try to do a certain thing in the club. I know how to settle myself to get my point over. Because if you know how to do a certain kind of thing, a certain kind of club, you can get over. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Just like last week, I was with the Intruder, Enchantment, and all
Yeah.
these. They good, man. I mean, they do their thing. And I work with the Spinners. Now Billy taught me a lot too. Billy, he did all the Spinners there now. Curve and Bobby, all these guys. Billy helped put me together. The manager of the Spinners,
Uh huh.
he taught me a lot of stuff too. And when I met the Spinners, man, they like were doing bad, Jacob. They were doing bad.
Ooh.
They only had one uniform, man.
Oh no.
They had just left. They had just left Motown. Yeah, and so what happened? My ex-wife knew Cecil Franklin, and Cecil Franklin introduced the Spinners to Atlantic Records,
Oh.
and they went to Atlantic, and when they went to Atlantic Records, they ain't look back. Everything they did, man, was hits.
Wow.
Felipe was you know the whole thing but what happened to them? He said, you know, he said he won't make. I thought he said he won't make that kind of money, so they split later on. But man, they had a heck of a group, man.
Ooh. Now I want to make sure because I'm sitting here. I'm just amazed right now as you tell me about all these folks that you've worked with and you've been all over the world and on Broadway and I mean everywhere. You have worked with the best of the best, and I want to ask you. I know you're on that I call it an iconic album with the gospel legends.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
What was it like being in the room with all of them at the same time? What was that like for you to be working with all those gospel greats all together?
Oh, Jacob, that was exciting, man. It's something, you know, when you know, it ain't no words for it really. It's just a joy. I put it that way. It was joy to work. Albertina Walker, Shirley, all of them was there.
Yeah, yeah,
I think Mexico the only one brought something like that together.
yep, yep.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, and so I'm still with, you know, I'm still with them. I'm going to do another project. But like I said, to be there with them, man, and a lot of them out of here now. Now they don't pass. I'm still around. Everybody else gone. But man, it's been a pleasure. I had a, I had my career. I can't tell you how I didn't plan it this way. I didn't plan the hall in Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Who would have thought I would be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? What happened? It just happened. I was on Broadway, and the guy sat beside me. He was debating on building the Hall of Fame in New York or Cleveland. So I decided that day, the matinee, to sit in the audience to watch the play, you know. And the guy sat beside me with his arm folded. He said, we like to have you, we want to put you in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. When we get out, I don't know which way we're going. We're going to Cleveland or New York. And he said, because you've been here 25 years. And he told me this. He said, I know everything about your career. He said, I've been following you from the Highway QC so we know you don't have to tell us nothing about you. So you brought the group back when it was down. And he just told me, he just started talking, you know. So, Jacob, so when I got home one night, me and my wife were together, and the phone rang, and they said they're going to induct you into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and for what you've done because of the Sam Cooke. You know, now Sam is not in the Hall of Fame with the Soul Stirrers. He's there by himself, Sam Cooke.
Oh,
you know. But I'm the one, the Honest Gospel Group. They're the only one that, because of the Soul Stirrers tribute to the field, because they changed a lot of the music. You know, like the Temptation, a lot of them said they got a lot of sound from the Soul Stirrers. But anyway, make a long story short, we went to Cleveland, and I went to Cleveland to see where they had put us. I went on the third floor, because we in the Hall of Fame twice. We got the Old Man Harris. That was the first Soul Stirrers. So I went up on the third floor. I was happy just to see the Soul Stirrers in the Hall of Fame. And so it was a young white girl. She said, "It's a lot of people coming here." I said, "I'm one of the Soul Stirrers." She said, "There's a lot of people coming, tell us a different kind of story." So she didn't honor me. So what happened? Homegirl, a black girl, she came down. She said, "Look, there's another picture with the Soul Stirrers on the first floor, and that's a picture that they used." And I went down to the first floor. She said, "Oh my God, that look like." She said, "We'll give you your money back." I paid to go see it because I just wanted to see what happened. She said, we'll give you the food. You can go anywhere you want to go." And I said, "No, you want to see the picture and everything." And so at that time, we were the first gospel group that inducted in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We was in the other Hall of Fame, but you call it the Entertainment Hall of Fame. But that was the honor right there, Jake. Like I tell you, my career went this way and that way and this way. You know,
wow.
I sung to the mega church, some of the biggest church in the world, and I sung to my little home church.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Wow. I mean,
my little home church. Hey, I had to, man, my little home church, man. That was, look, when we first came on the road, see, we couldn't stay at them nice hotels. We stayed at them little, you know where we stayed, man, them little shacks and things, man.
Oh man. Oh my goodness.
Man, it was years before we could stay at if you go up there and tell them, if you were black, you couldn't stay at the hotel, you know, especially the great hotel. But I seen all this change, man. And I saw Rita. I remember Rita, before she sang R&B, I was her father. Her first song would Never Grow Old.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what happened to that situation? Because you know, me and Reverend Franklin were real tight, and he took her to do the Columbia record. Columbia called for her. She tried to do some jazz. She wasn't no jazz singer at all. But she got a pretty good sale on that record. Sam Cooke put it. I'm skipping again. I'm coming back. Sam Cooke put her on his show because Sam was a smart guy, man. Sam booked his own show. He booked Jackie Wilson, Lord, all them guys, man. And he put Rita on his show.
Right.
I never forget. We was in Charlotte, North Carolina, and he had a bus. You know, he put the band riding the bus, and Rita, she had just signed with Atlantic Records. I don't know what name of that song. I think it was Respect or whatever. But it was burning up. It burned up the chart. Sam Cooke told Rita, said, "You got to leave. You got to leave. So you got a hit record out there." She didn't want to leave.
Ooh.
Yeah, but she left. You know what happened behind her story after that.
Right.
She didn't want to leave because but Sam said, "You got to get out here. So your record is burning up. You number 1 or whatever." And Sam was number 1 too, because Sam was, all the Sam stuff here.
Right.
But let me tell you about that. Go back, skipping, going back with that. Sam, when he first left the Soul Stir, he flopped. You know that he flopped. His record. He had a record out called Lovable.
Yeah.
And when Flower and them came back in town, Sam was on the doorstep crying, man. Tried to get back with the Soul Stir. They wouldn't take him back.
Oh,
so
no.
What happened? No, they wouldn't take him back. So what happened? A guy called Bumps Blackwell said, "What we're going to do with Sam Cooke, we're going to put strings and things behind him. We're going to change his style and everything." And that's what they did. They sat down here in LC and they did Darling, You Send Me. You know what happened behind that? He didn't look back.
Right. That's right. That's right.
But
yeah, go ahead.
I've been through all of this type of thing, man. But like I said, on the road at that time, it was like a family. We meet up in a little small hotel, the Isley Brothers, so everybody stayed in them same little hotels because we couldn't stay in nice hotels.
Right.
Although we were making the money, but anyway, it was like a family, man, meeting up across the country. And but anyway, now, like I said, man, I had a beautiful career. I'm still doing it, and
Yes.
I'm just enjoying myself, man. God able me to be around, and now I tell all, but you got to be how you got to take it to heart,
Right.
heart. It got to be. I found out one thing: if you take it to heart, to me, I found out it was more than money. It was a love. If you love something, that money can come sooner or later. You know what I'm saying?
Amen.
I've been blessed. I can't say nothing. Just an idea, man. Another thing, I had the chance to many times to sing for Martin Luther King. So that's something. Look up on WWE Martin Luther King birthday, and you see me singing When the Gates Swing Open. I don't know how they match that. They can show you the march. They can show you the Kennedys and all the other people, and you can some kind of way they mixed up. They put the soundtrack When the Gates Swing Open. That's an honor right there.
Wow. Oh, I want to ask you because now, okay, you mentioned Dr. King. I want to ask you about President Barack Obama. Did you sing for President Obama?
Change going to come.
How did that happen? When did you sing for President Obama? Tell me about that. That's what I want to hear about that.
No, that was up front. That when he put all them 90,000, them 100,000, with a million people down there. That was a million people. And I did it, and then I did it in New York for the union. The union, there's a SEIE, is a big union. So I did it there too. But that was one of his favorite songs.
Woo! I know.
and Jesse Jackson. Now Jesse Jackson did a lot for me too, man. I got to tell you, look, Jesse helped a lot of people across the world. A lot of people don't. I know they don't want to talk about Jesse, but Jesse helped a lot of people that couldn't get in the door. You know, but he
Absolutely.
helped a lot of people, and I did a lot of things for Jesse.
Well,
Uh,
and I know you did because I grew up. I grew up listening to you on VON every Saturday morning. I would be half sometimes be half asleep, but I have my ear listening, and I hear Reverend Jackson say, "Let's bring Willie Rogers up to the stage," and you say that wonderful. That's it.
that's right. You know what? That was his song. Guess what? I don't care. Every new song I want to bring there every Saturday morning. That's the song he want me to sing.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
That was my time to wake up. I said wonderful. And I heard you hit that note, say wonderful. I said, oh yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Now he done a lot for my career too because I met a lot of people across the country. That know Jesse. And I met a whole lot of business people. I did. Hey man, he had me to sing when the gates swing open for Bill Gates. Man, I said, Jesse, he said, look, man, sing that. We was in New York.
What? Wait a minute. You got to sing for Bill Gates too?
Oh yeah, we was in New York. He had a called a Wall Street project. All the
Yeah.
business things. He had Turner there. They had the guy from Warner Brothers and had Bill Gates there and all the ministers and everybody. So they have the early meeting and then they have a break. When they have the breaks, they're going out for lunch and they came out and Jesse was with Bill Gates and he told me, he said, look here, sing when the gates sang open for Bill Gates. And I did, man, because I had my musician in my head. I had my musician and I sung through the years I keep on. And you know what? Bill Gates, man, he said, where you get that stuff from, man? He took his hand and touched my throat. He said,
What?
he said, where you get it? Yeah, man, Jesse, man, he was a guy. He whatever you go to, he don't care. He like what he like.
Right.
So, and I didn't mind doing it. But that, but then, like I said, I did a lot of work across the country, man. I met a lot of people. I met a lot of civil rights workers that I didn't even know about, man. They were doing stuff for us, man. Oh man.
Ooh, I know you. I know you've seen a lot down through the years.
It's hard for me to do this kind because I've been my career is crisscross, man. Here, there, but it's been fun, plenty of fun, man.
I understand it. I wanna ask you a question because and I want the listening audience to know this. I don't know if I've shared this with the audience or not, but when we did that show down in Millennium Park, I never forget because we shared a dressing room, and I'm already in shock. I'm on a show with Otis Clay, Willie Rogers. I'm like, wow, I'm in heaven already. And I remember you and Josie before the show. You said you both said, okay, well, let's have a prayer before the show.
Yeah.
And I never forgot that. That always stuck with me because that was the first time I had ever been on a show I've been on a show with other folks where someone said, let's pause and let's pray before we go on to before we do our show. And that always stuck with me because of how important it is to pray and to prepare yourself and be ready before you get out on the stage. And I never forgot that. I always took that with me ever since that day. I gotta ask you, as you think about how your career is crisscrossed and from Norfolk, Virginia to overseas to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame to singing in front of Bill Gates and Barack Obama, What kind of advice would you give another young person who's trying to get into the music industry and they want to start singing? What kind of advice would you give them?
Be yourself. Be yourself. If you be yourself, because you don't know what you don't know. Be yourself. Now, now? Remember, I tell you, I know I had to teach myself some good habits. I picked the people that I want to I want to emulate to present myself on the stage and everything. But be yourself, because there's something that God put in you that nobody can do. Your style gonna come out sooner or later. You can't actually. People say I don't sound like Sam Cooke because I be myself. But they may say that, but I know how I feel within my spirit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And even you be yourself when you do R&B, everything. Cause ain't but one God. You know, cause look, Michael Jackson ain't nowhere in the heck he could do what he do with that. Now he was a guy to pray before he hit the stage. But look at how he's moving and everything, man. You can't move like that, man, if you ain't got that spirit in you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Be yourself. Now, if you be yourself, you can never lose. You can never lose. I tell young people, whoever, if you be yourself, and like Michael Jordan, he was himself. What he did, he one of the shortest guys on the team in North Carolina State. He practiced every day to jump. He practiced every day to jump until he perfect that jump. That's why he could jump over everybody's head. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You be yourself. Because there's something within you. And you can depend on it. When it hit, you'll know it. You can never go wrong then because you know that's you doing that. So that's what I said.
Wow.
And the prayer work. Now, you know what we did? We did that in Kelowna. We would never hit the stage without we have a circle, to touch ourselves. So when we go out there, it's something about it, man. At first Morgan Freeman, then he he believed what he believed, but then again he started joining the circle. But the thing is, every night before we hit the stage, we will always touch hands together. I believe that now, and another thing too. If you be yourself, you can never go wrong.
Amen.
Because ain't nobody just like you. Ain't nobody can get an interview like you giving it. Because you get joy, you can hear the joy all in your spirit. I remember Otis told you, come on with it.
Yeah, that's right. You remember good.
Amen. Me and Otis we did B.B. King too, funeral.
Right. That's right.
Yeah, we went down there. Now I didn't know I was gonna do that. He said, "Come ride with me, man." So I rode with him because he drove, and we got down there. We got to Memphis first. Man, there were so many people in Memphis, and then we left Memphis went down to Indianola, and he had me sitting down. I didn't know I was gonna do no thing. He didn't even tell me. And so he got up. There's the Otis Clay is here from Chicago. He had to do when the gate swing open. And he said, "Come on, man, come on with me." I got on the stage. He did his first work and first verse and gave me the mic.
Wow.
Oh man. But I was ready though. I was ready because I love BB.
Yes. Oh
Yeah.
yes.
Man, there were people calling all over the world about that the way me and Otis, But he, like I said, I didn't know he didn't prepare me for that. He said, "Come on the stage," and sat down. They had seats for me and Otis, and he started out, and then he gave me the mic, and from there, and then I did Lou Ross. I did Lou Ross funeral.
I didn't know that, but
what happened before Lou passed? Jesse Jackson come and told me and said, "Look, Lou Ross wants you to do his funeral." Said he left 3 songs for you to do. He wants you to do "Change Gonna Come," "Jesus Be a Fist Around Me," and "Wonderful." And those are songs that Lou want me to do. So we went to California. Man, when we got to California, man, all them cameras was there. Man, all them cameras, everybody was there, man.
Woo.
And so look, man. So it comes time for me. Jesse Jackson said, homeboy, are you scared? I'm scared. No, I ain't scared. I'm trying, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
because Jesse did the eulogy.
Right, right.
And they had, you know, Hollywood, they got all them cameras, man. All everybody, man. You know, everybody was there. So, so they called me up to do what I did, and then I did Change Going to Come. When I did Change Going to Come, the house went up, and here come LC Cooke was there.
Ooh.
LC, me and LC was together, man. LC come up on the stage, and he took the second verse, and look, and you know, Sam used to go down to his knees on that verse. And LC came up, we came up the same time, and man, the camera was clicking everywhere, man.
Woo.
Yeah, it was something, man. And all them people was there, now, you know, especially in Hollywood. And so, you
Ooh.
know, like I said, so he left the three songs that he wanted me to do. Jesus Be a Fence Around Me, Wonderful, and Change Gonna Come. I had to do all three of them. I did a lot of big guests there. Andre Crouch, was it Dilla Reese? Yeah, Dilla Reese, I think. I don't know, but anyway, it was a lot of people there.
Wow.
Yes, yeah. So, you know, like I said, it was a lot of crisscross, this and that. But man, I love people. You know what I'm saying? I love when I perform, I give them all I can, man.
I know that's
'Cause,
right.
when you do that, man, because you know, Miss Fowler told me, this old man Fowler was the bass singer from the Soul Search, and the people don't have to leave their home and nothing to come to see you and all this kind of stuff. When they come out, then you know, give your best, you know. So,
Yes.
and that's my thing, and be yourself.
Yes, sir.
I can't because you know when you take all of the people that made it, you can tell they they went down and brought it. Look at Gladys Knight. You know that's Gladys Knight. Chaka Khan, James Brown. Because James Brown was himself. It be himself. Now Michael said he learned a lot from James Brown, but Michael did what Michael do.
Right. Right.
You know. And it's another guy that I got some points from too, and in court, the guy called Ira Tucker. He's from the Dixon Hummingbird. He
Yeah.
wrote, he wrote a lot of Stevie Wonder songs,
Right.
and I got some stuff from him. But like I said, most of my moves and everything that I like because I like a certain kind of way I present myself, you know.
Absolutely.
When I'm working in front of the audience, but then again, when that Holy Spirit comes on, tell them what. That's another story.
Yeah, yeah. For I understand. You know, I got somebody. One of our listeners, Keith. He's online on Facebook, and he's saying, I know everyone's loving your everything that you've been sharing with us tonight. He said, you know, you got enough stories for a best-selling documentary. And I think we need to. I mean, I'm gonna put that out in the universe. I think we need to see a documentary on Willie Rogers, because I think it would be. It would be. I agree with you, Keith. It would be best selling. Because you've got a lot of great experiences. I mean, with all the greats. I mean, and you included.
Yeah. It's a nice trip.
Yeah. Now let me ask you this. You said that you were working on a new project.
Yeah.
What's that? When's that project gonna come out?
Oh, I haven't started yet. I'm waiting on the material. My wife gonna write one. She's gonna write one for me.
Okay.
And I'm waiting to the guys to send me some material. I probably, you know, it probably be. I don't know what you know how it is now, cause the record business ain't like it used to be. You know.
Right.
You know, but I waited on it, but I thought it been here. I thought he was gonna be here this week, but it might be here this week, so I can start rehearsing.
Okay. Well, when you come out with that new project, you gotta let me know. I gotta let me know so we can play that on the air too, because I definitely want to get a copy of that one.
Okay, I sure will. You can be the first.
All right. Hey now.
You the first. And we hope you put something on my mind about a documentary. We'll talk about that too.
You had talked about a documentary?
Yeah.
Oh,
We'll we'll see that you put something on my mind by doing that.
I think it's worth doing. I think it's
Yeah.
worth it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Well, Mr. Rogers, I think we could talk all night, because I think I really appreciate this. We might have to do a part 2. I had to bring you back on the show so we
Okay.
could do another part. But I
Okay.
really enjoy talking with you and just hearing about learning and listening and hearing about all your experiences down through the years. And I want to thank you for taking the time to hang out on Blues and News on the Buddy Guy radio station
Oh
and
yeah.
and talking with us this evening. I want to thank you, and I want to ask you, do you have any upcoming performances that the listeners can know about?
No, not right now.
Okay.
Uh, no. Well, the stuff done started coming back in now. 'Cause people going back out again.
Yes. Well, when you do, you please let me know, because I want to come out and hear some. I want to hear some down home gospel. I need to hear me some good gospel music. So let me know, and I'm gonna let the people know too.
I'm gonna let you know from now on. I'm gonna be letting you know everything. Okay.
All right, that'll work. That sounds good to me. Wow.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
Mr. Rogers, thank you so much. It's been great talking with you. I really appreciate it. Now I'll make sure that we can get you a copy of the interview too, so you have it.
Okay.
But yeah, let's stay in touch, and I want to thank you again. This has been wonderful. Thank you again.
Oh, yeah. Well, okay. God bless you, and we talk again soon.
All right, then, that sounds good. Thank you. God bless you too, Mr. Rogers.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, have a good one.